Hello everybody, welcome back to the Turbo Bandit Project. So we're back with the Turbo Bandit project. I've made a little progress. I've actually finished the turbo headers. I'll show you more about these later on in the video, so stay tuned to see how I made these and where we're going next. So a bit of an update for you. I've been doing a bit of shopping for the project. I've actually purchased 2/3 of an engine. Basically I've bought a set of crankcases, a crank with pistons and rods, a set of barrels, and that's about it. There's no cylinder head, there's no gearbox, there's no clutch, but I've bought it for the project, mainly because I want the barrels. Something that's going to be happening later on in the project is I need to replace the standard pistons in the engine with some suitable ones for the turbo, and I'm not going to do it to the standard ones. I'm going to use another set to do that to. Now, something else I've got for the project is I picked up a second-hand oil cooler from motorbikebreakers.com, and I've purchased this because it didn't matter what I tried with the turbo headers, they just wouldn't fit with a standard oil cooler. So I've gone with this aftermarket one that has the oil line feeds into the top of the oil cooler, and it just makes life so much easier with some extra clearance. Turbo headers, I've finally finished them. If you watch the last video, you'll see me making a merge collector, and if you remember that, you'll know this one looks slightly different. I tried to work that other design, but it just didn't quite work right, but it was good practice for making this set of headers. Now, I love this set of headers. It's like my first proper set of headers I've made, but there's always room for improvements. I've been doing so much learning as I've been going along, and so I might even make another set of headers ready for when we actually get the bike to start. But for now, these will do the job just fine. So it's not the most comprehensive video, me making these, because like I say, I've been doing quite a lot of learning, and it's sort of just hard to talk to you while I'm making them when I'm not always sure what I'm actually doing myself. So hopefully you've liked this bit of video to show me putting them apart and the stages they've gone through to make them, and watched a bit of welding. Now we're going to try and fit the turbo headers for the first time, and then we're going to mount the turbo, and then we're going to see how that works, and then we'll look at doing the exhaust from the turbo back. But to do that, we need to drain the oil out of the bike and remove the standard oil cooler. So let's crack on, shall we? So we've drained the bike of oil, we've got the oil cooler off. Now it's time to fit the headers for the first time. So let's see how we get on and let's see if they actually fit. Wish me luck.
Want me to hold it?
Yeah, I might have to get you to... They're close, just need a little bit of wiggling. Yeah?
Yeah.
That in?
Yeah.
Right. So, there we have it. My first set of turbo headers. Considering I'm an amateur fabricator, very amateur welder, especially TIG welding, you know, I've only sort of started teaching myself since the start of this project really. I'm quite happy with how well that fits. I mean, it's not perfect, they don't just slide in, you know, they need a bit of a pull, but to be honest with you, I'm rather happy with that. So, next job is fit the turbo. One thing I'm probably going to have to do is remove this brace from here. I was hoping I'd be able to leave it in, but I don't think it's going to work with that brace there. So, I'm going to have to remove that, and I'm also going to have to clock the turbo, it's called. I have to move different things into position, but we're going to do that on the bench. So, we'll move over there, and I'll show you what I've got to do to the turbo. Okay, what we're going to do now is what's known as clocking the turbo. So when the turbo is sat on the bike, it's probably going to be sat there. Front wheel will be here, and obviously the engine's going to be here. So that'll be about the position it needs to sit in at that sort of angle. But that tube there is the oil drain tube. That needs to be pointing straight down. And this side, which is where the pressurized air comes out, this needs to be pointing more towards the back of the engine to go to the carbs and the pledo, which is like a aluminium airbox. So I need to take this off because apparently there's a roll pin in there that stops it turning. There's a big circlip, but I've also got to take off the actuator for the wastegate. And then once I've took that off, I'll undo this nut here and then see if I can turn the core, which is the bit that's got all the spinny round bits on, flip that round so it's facing directly down when it's on the bike. So I might move it, take it back to the bike, make sure it's in the right place and tighten things up, and then I'll move this one round as well. So yeah, start taking it apart. Now I have skipped on a little bit. Getting this piece out, which is the core of the turbo, was an absolute nightmare. I had to get Bill to give me a hand. We had to use G-clamps and all sorts of stuff. It was really quite hard, but we've got it apart. So we've got that bit, which is the exhaust housing. We've got the core. We can now move that to the right orientation of this, because that sits on the bike at that angle, and then that would be straight down, whereas before this was sticking up that way, I think. So we can move that around. Now, turbos are balanced things, and I'm not a turbo expert. I know next to nothing about turbos, so I'm a little bit worried about putting this all back together. I think what I'm going to do is get everything lined up and then take it to someone that knows what they're doing. So I'm not afraid to not do this bit myself. You know, I'd rather take it somewhere. Hopefully they'll be able to, you know, teach us, show us how things work and explain things to us. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for the meantime, I can still bolt this on the bike, so then we can look at doing the exhaust. We've got one of these flanges that fits just like that. Then we can look at doing the exhaust. So we'll go and bolt this on the bike, and then we'll start looking at exhaust stuff. So I've got back over to the bike, and as you can see, the turbo is mounted. I've had to take this brace off, which is also part of the engine mounts. Now, the 600s don't have this brace, but the 1200s do. I'm going to have to keep this out if I'm going to want to put a turbo on. But what I'm going to do is trace around these, get the right thickness steel, and make some new engine mounts. So the engine will still be mounted, just won't have this brace. But near enough every single person I've seen with a Turbo Bandit takes that out, so I'm not too worried about it. So this next part, I need your help. I need you to leave me a comment and tell me what type of exhaust you think I should do. So I've got the turbo flange just here. It doesn't fit quite right at the moment, but that'll go on just there. Now, what type of exhaust do you think I should do? Should I have like a 45 degree that just comes out with a hole, or do I do a slash cut? Or the other option is use something like a 90 degree bend and have a teardrop. The other option is I could have a 90 degree bend that goes down along the back and then comes out underneath the footrest, or I could even do it as a full system. Now, I've got two of these exhaust flanges, so I've got two chances to make an exhaust. So let me know what type of exhaust you think I should make for this bike in the comments. I really would appreciate it, and I'll always respond to all your comments. So for this video, that's going to be it. I'm happy with my progress. I'm sorry I didn't quite show it off on camera as good as I'd hoped, and obviously as good as you probably hoped, but hopefully you like the progress and you like how it's going. As with everything with projects, things change and different things are going to happen. I'm definitely going to make another set of headers, because I think I can get the turbo closer in and a bit higher up. And as you can see, there's loads of wheel clearance, so I'm really happy about that. I'm also going to get the turbo, take it to someone that knows what they're doing, because I'm not that happy about putting it together myself, but I did manage to get it apart. So yeah, it's been a hell of a learning process. I appreciate you guys watching, you know, the big gaps between the videos, but I do appreciate you guys sticking around. If you want to catch up and make sure you don't miss any episodes, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you get a notification every time we do an upload. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, we'll see you later.